Person here, and the three writers who I had a running argument with. One is Dan Wilcox, Paul Pine, Bob Couteau, and my friend Dave Colchimero, because when something happens that's unexpected, someone has this term called synchronicity, that there's some Jungian reason why it happens. And for whatever reason, it seems like it happens with me more than any other people. And three poems had to do with just things that were very, very unexpected. And all these poems have to do with that, because I just happened by chance to buy a book by Carl Jung about all this magical thinking, which I'm not even a true believer of. And there's this woman, Hutchinson, who has a prompt for poems. Now, I've never written a poem ever in my whole life about ancient Chinese poets. So I write this little thing, Good, Better, and Different, about tofu. The next day, I get a prompt from her, write a poem about an ancient... what is this? And I also, someone stuck, and I just wrote one the day before. So could she have thought that she read my mind? And that was a prompt. But I never did it before, so you really think, hey, maybe there's something in this. The other thing is, I was in New Jersey, in West Orange, and I decided to go into the internet. I say, oh, here's my grandfather's wedding announcement. So I boom, 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 go in. It's a woman in Eugene, Oregon. He said, oh, by the way, you have a cousin who lives in all places in the world, Albany, who's tracking your family. Never heard of him. I come in, has a book as big as a telephone book about my great-great-great-grandfather. So of all the places in the world where he could live, and it's a big world, it was Albany. So I said, hey, this is kind of weird. Another case that also happens to do with Wilcox. There was this woman I was infatuated with. Her name was Susan Ashley. I'm looking her up on 40 years. I wonder what happened to her. Get an email from Wilcox. Oh, this woman, Susan Ashley, is looking. Whereas we made contact after 40 years, I thought that something could happen, but she's living with a third husband in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and a granddaughter. I don't think there's much in it. but that was also something unexpected. So here's the thing on tofu, which it's just new, it hasn't been polished, called modernity. Tofu, 713 to 770. The great Chinese poet never wrote a poem without at least a sunset, moon, firefly, or a river. But today you may write about the toll taker on the New Jersey Turnpike, a broken motorbike, a computer glitch, a microwave oven switch. Tofu is still alive after 1,400 years. Will we mods do justice to tofu? Of such wisdom we poets are frugal. To learn more, check it out on Google. so this was in a Hudson, to read my mind. A poet I admire a lot is Howard Cogan, and I read a poem. I said to Howard, what would you? Hey, it sounded like something I did, but he did it before me. Maybe I stole some of the ideas from him. And it had to do, he sees some people come and say, what would Jesus do? Okay, so while stuck in traffic, I saw a bumper sticker on a truck in front of me. How would Jesus drive? That's something I never thought about. But once you ask the question, you can't help thinking about it. I didn't know much about Jesus, so I did a background check. In the Gospels, we see that he was a drinker. He could even turn water to wine. He wasn't much of a law-abider. He usually disobeyed the authorities, a rabble-rouser, eventually a convict, unshaven, without visible means of support. Probably didn't have a valid driver's license. Not someone you trust with your new Lexus. But he would never be in a car, since he could walk on water and soar like an angel. He would fly above the frozen traffic like the folks in the TV station helicopter, gazing down at everyone who was stuck, and think, my God, look at all those poor souls waiting with their engines running and not even knowing where they're all going. Yeah. That cousin here who got me another cousin who lives in Kiryat Tivon in the mountains in Israel, and I got in touch with him. I never knew. I knew who his grandfather was, so then he sends me this note. It was so preposterous, I almost didn't believe it. It's called My Mother's Wedding Dress. Through the internet, I find a cousin in Israel I never met. He thought my branch of the family was dead, killed in Poland or disappeared into Russia. Then I get a eureka. I remember your mother. Mona, she was at Uncle Al's funeral. I believe she borrowed my mother's dress 75 years ago and never gave it back. You have it. Does he think my mother's a crook? Wedding dress, 75 years? Is he nuts? I've moved 20 times since my mother's wedding. I don't even own a house, an attic, a basement. All my belongings in 2 suitcases. I can't even find my glasses at the end of my nose. My keys and umbrella I always lose. Why would I have my mother's wedding dress? That's if she ever had one. Next, I get a letter he recants. My best guess is the dress was lent out to others after your mother had it. It was a depression. Wedding dresses were luxury items passed on from one relative to another. Good. Now my mother's off the hook. This cousin I never met is probably a nice guy with a fertile imagination. Perhaps without knowing it, he dreamed the dress out of whole cloth as a way of remembering, a way of connecting, like a poem, a story, a song, or like a dress, like life itself, a dream.